Prehistoric medicine is medicine used and created before the invention of writing and the undocumented history of medicine. The study of prehistoric medicine relies heavily on artifacts and human remains. Plants were one of the main forms of medicine back then. The thought that if you mixed a lot of different types of plants together, that you could create some medicine that would cure all sorts of different diseases. Many people back then would pray because they thought that spirits would help them get rid of illnesses and that these spirits could even help their families if they prayed. Some of them would even join and gather together. Since plants' materials would quickly rot under the most conditions, historians are unlikely to fully understand which species were used in prehistoric medicine. Plants rot very quickly. Medicine men maintained the health of their tribe by gathering and distributing herbs, performing minor surgical procedures, providing medical advice, and supernatural treatments such as charms, spells, and amulets to ward off evil spirits. People in prehistoric times have believed in the combination of natural and supernatural causes and treatments for conditions and diseases. There may have been some trial and error in coming up with new treatments for people. There is also archaeological evidence of cannibalism back then among some of the prehistoric communities. So they must have known about our inner organs and body systems, which help them create medicines. Most likely, they believed that their lives were determined by spirits and ghosts. People around the world today often correlate illnesses with losing of one spirit, which was the same back then. Most evidence found in prehistoric graves shows healthy but badly set bones, indicating that they did not know how to set broken bones or how to stitch people up properly to make them better. Some of the herbs and plants that were used in prehistoric times consist of yarrow, mallow, rosemary, birch polypore, and many more. Women were in charge of gathering and administrating herbal remedies, and were in charge of treating sickness and keeping their families healthy. They were usually in charge of their children as well, as you can see in this picture. As people did not know how to read or write in those days, knowledge of the benefits and harms of various medicines, like herbs and plants, would have been passed down by word of mouth, not by books. Magic was a big part of prehistoric ways to get better. They would hold rituals where many people would gather around to get treated with magic. This person would usually be called the medicine man. It is believed that the medicine man was often regarded as the head of prehistoric communities because of their knowledge of where plants and herbs grew, as well as certain knowledge about rivers and water sources. The medicine man always had a healing crystal, which they rubbed on the hurting areas of the patient. As you can imagine, this did no good, but it was an example of the faith-healing prehistoric tribes that they had. Early humans could have learned about the use of various healing clays by observing animal behaviors. Such clays is used both internally and externally, such as for treating wounds and after surgery. And the external use clay is still happening today. Some scholars believe that prehistoric ancestries such as Homo erectus and Homo neanderthals use orcheries to cure wounds as well as paint caves. Orcheries are a mixture of clay and iron hydroxides. Trepanning was a basic surgical operation carried out predominantly by medicine men in prehistoric societies across the world. Archaeologists discovered that people had knowledge of medicine and dentistry. The physical anthropologists who carried the examinations, Professor Andre Kolkenia from the University of Missouri, made the discovery when he was cleaning the teeth from one of the men. There is no written evidence which can be used for investigation into the prehistoric periods of history. Historians must use their sources such as human remains from this period to help them